Welcome aboard, fellow learners. Some people may be wondering how you succeed in an online course, especially a course with as much material as we'll cover in a short amount of time. Well, I'm here to help you. Some people refer to me as professor, faculty member, instructor, lecturer. Any of those will do, but I prefer the term mentor. I'm here to serve as a guide along the side rather than necessarily a sage up on the stage, right? A guide on the side, not a sage on the stage. Because this class is not about getting a grade. It's about succeeding in the field of strategic communication. There are quite a few differences in this course. We developed this course in a way that would help us apply learning and apply that learning for real-world scenarios. You'll be going through a scripted storyline that will help not exactly mirror, but certainly replicate or resemble what you might see in the real world. Now, when I offer you feedback, that feedback will be very similar to what I offer my own employees. I've been leading professional communicators for decades, and I'm not necessarily there to be their copy editor or to tell them exactly how to get the message out. I'm there to help them improve their own writing and to think about how they want to get the message out for our organization or for an organization that we are serving. And the feedback like this is what you should expect from leaders within the communication field, especially servant leaders, those of us who want to mentor others. So let's talk a little bit about secrets to success. I've been teaching and learning in the online environment since 2007, so I've picked up some things that I think would be helpful, and I want to share those with you. First of all, stay ahead. I know you're probably watching this in week one and you're thinking, we've got months, nay, weeks until this course is over. Those weeks, those months are going to fly by, and before you know it, we're going to be looking back at the end of the course. And so if you don't stay ahead, especially in these shorter courses, it's nearly impossible to catch up. So stay ahead, number one. Secondly, you need to stay engaged. You've got an introduction this week. You'll have discussions every week. Those are ways for you to interact with your peers. I've learned over the years that some of the best interaction leads to the best outcomes in terms of the course, and not just necessarily about a grade. I know that people focus on the grade, but I'm trying to get you to look beyond that grade, because that grade really means nothing at the end of the day, right? As long as you get the knowledge you need, that's what's most important. So put that grade aside and focus on trying to gain as much knowledge as you possibly can, especially knowledge that you can apply to your own strategic communication efforts. So stay ahead, stay engaged, and stay informed. Most of the questions I answer in a class are already available in the classroom, in the syllabus, in an announcement. Okay, once you teach and learn, year after year, decade after decade, you get a sense of what the most common questions are, and so you try to address those up front. Make sure you're making use of all of those opportunities to gain that information. I'm always here to help you, but that information almost is always available already, so make sure you stay informed. This is especially true in the assignments. Make sure you read all the instructions. If you have a question, read the instructions again, because typically the answers you seek are already in the instructions or somewhere in the class itself. So stay ahead, stay engaged, stay informed. Now, what can you expect from me? As I mentioned before, I like to serve as your mentor, that guide on the side alongside you. So I'm going to provide that guidance. I'll provide it either in writing or video like I'm doing here. Sometimes it'll be both. Of course, I'll answer any questions you have. The requirement is 48 hours. I usually answer them within 24 hours, and sometimes I'll even answer them the same day, just depending upon my schedule. You can also expect that I'll give you feedback on all of your assignments. Now, some of the assignments are self-evident, right? If you follow the instructions, you meet all the assignment requirements, the feedback may not be very detailed because you did a great job, and that's exactly what I would do with one of my employees. You know, if I get something that I need to approve before we send out, you know, they may get an attaboy, or as we say in the Navy, a Bravo Zulu for a job well done. But I'll try to find more specific things, especially if there are issues that, you know, need to be worked on. And then, of course, your final grades will be due within 5 days of the end of the course. And we'll talk more about that as we get near the end of the course. But just know that I'm there to help you, obviously, in any way I can. All right, so we know the secrets to your success. We know what you can expect of me. Let's talk a little bit about writing expectations. In the academic world, we typically use APA, American Psychological Association. Some of that's going to be a little bit different in this course and other courses you've already taken. Because in our world, meaning strategic communication, journalism, all those kinds of things, or public relations, we typically use the Associated Press style guide. And I know it can get a little bit confusing. And so we try to lay out in the assignment requirements which method you're going to use. Now, here's my advice. I keep both of these on my desk, right? So I've got my Associated Press style guide. I've got my my AP manual. It can get a little confusing, but here's my advice to you, at least in terms of this course. Don't worry about the formatting so much. We'll help you with that, and that can always be fixed. Worry about the content, because that's what matters, and that's what our clients will be looking for, right? So obviously follow Associated Press or APA if that's the style for that specific assignment, but we'll focus more on the content. All right. So I alluded to this earlier, but during our first week together, you'll have an opportunity to introduce yourself. Use that opportunity. You know, if we were sitting in a real world classroom, which I also teach, you know, it's nice. You get everybody together. We do introductions. You've got breaks. You've got these times to meet one another. And, you know, some of that learning rubs off on each other, much like it does in a workplace. So take advantage of that. You can also make contacts in this class, right? You'll find some common interests with other classmates. Some of you may have found as you've moved through the program that you're, you know, in the same cohort, and so you're seeing similar people in similar classes. But if not, you know, meet as many people as you can. Those contacts will come in handy, much like they do in our public relations or strategic communication world. All right, I will give you my work email. That's where all, you know, formal communication will take place through the classroom, through my work email, university email, okay? But I also will give you in the announcement, the written announcement, my personal email and my personal phone, cell phone, so you can text me if need be. Now, the reason I do that, earlier I told you what you can expect of me in terms of responsiveness. If for some reason you post a question in the classroom or you send me an email through the university email and I don't respond within 48 hours, reach out to me. Send me an email on my personal email or send me a text and say, hey, I've got a question pending in the classroom. I haven't heard back from you. It almost never happens. But if I'm on travel or have, you know, other things, life, just like you do, I don't want to ever miss a question that you have. So by all means, reach out there if I have not responded within the 48 hours. Okay, so again, to highlight, stay ahead, stay engaged, stay informed, and just one more thing. Make sure that through this and every opportunity you have, you always enjoy your time of learning.